Our economy has come a long way, if I can put it this way. To contextualize where we are today from where we have come from in 1975, when we became independent, our economy was still under 5 billion kina. Our population was 3 million plus. Our economy under 5 billion kina. Keep those in mind as we engage in public conversations. I want Papua New Guineans not to be hard on ourselves. We've come from a very, very weak spot. Small economy, big population, mid-sized population, and even bigger landmass. Manus, New Island, Bougainville, put together 460,840 square kilometers of land. Bigger than the United Kingdom, bigger than Japan, bigger than New Zealand. Our landmass is big. Bigger than Philippines. Our landmass is big. In a small economy and weak economy, we cannot sustain the required impetus for growth over time. And I just want to step back also and appreciate our strong bilateral partners: Australia, China, USA, India, Philippines, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, as well as some of the institutional multilateral lenders and bilateral lenders. Thank you very much for sticking around with Papua New Guinea the last 47 years, going 48 now. Thank you very much. Thank you. Without the inputs, our economy would not have sustained in the way we have come. I give you some additional information that can assist your public conversations and understanding. I have looked deep into how we've come as a nation, so that as your last man standing, as the chief servant, I am equipped with the correct information to make necessary calls for how we traverse into our collective future. And as I looked into how we've come from 1975 to 2002, there have been 12 government formations. There have been 12 government formations. So for the first 27 years of our nation's life, up to 2002, changeover of government was taking place every 2 years and 2.5 years. The political instability cascaded down to a weaker, continued public policy and public service performance. For the first 27 years of our life, comparatively, our economy grew by less than 15 billion kina. It was 5 billion, under 5 billion in 1975. It became under 20 billion in 2002. Ask Ms. Dania and the team at the Central Bank, they may tell you it was possibly 17 billion kina in 2002 on record. And so our economy grew just 15 billion kina for the first 27 years of our nation's life. If you put 2002 as a page marker in your mind, and if you run to 2022, our economy today is 113 billion kina economy. The biggest leap we saw in our nation's economy was from the period 2002 to 2022. In the 20-year period, we grew from a 17 billion kina economy or a 20 billion kina economy to today 113 billion kina economy, a 97 billion kina expansion in the last 20 years. But that economy is not enough to sustain a growth population, a big population. United Nations, UNDP, UNICEF, they say it's 17 million people. If it is 17 million economically productive people, that's good for the economy our size. But at the moment, all of us know 90%, if not 80% of our population are dependent on government, and the 20% are in employment. And so that compels us to find ways to ensure that we quickly ramp up productivity amongst all sectors. Population who are unengaged, unemployed, still in the rural areas, marginalized, must be brought into the formal economy ASAP as we speak. And so we arrived in government in 2019, I beg your pardon. When I arrived in 2019, our economy was a 79 billion kina economy. 79 billion kina economy. If you keep your pages on, and if Governor of Central Bank will tell you, they will tell you exactly how much the economy expanded under Somalia, under O'Neill, under Marape. We arrived in an economy that was under 80 billion, 79.6 billion in around 2019. And through strategic use of deficit budget as a tool, we had a targeted approach in our economy, knowing, especially when we arrived in 2020, when COVID-19 hit and had an effect on our local economy, as well as important effects from a global economy that was shrinking. We had to make intervention using budget, government budget as a tool to spend money in the economy, keeping the economy afloat. 2020, 2021, 2022. All in all, under my watch, government spent over 70 billion kina to the economy, quite expansionist. We were ambitious, we wanted to be expansionist, expand the base, focus on key deliverables, especially infrastructures. And that is why Australia government, and I just want to step in now and thank Australia government for the first time in as many years, realizing the need to support where it matters most. The 7 port, for instance, they're making interventions in, has strong element of local content, spending in our economy, ensuring that money is retained instead of capital flight that was happening by giving contracts and the spin of contracts and value of the contracts to grow GDP elsewhere. We wanted to ensure projects developed in our country, the residual benefit, actual cash, as well as the impact on the economy is felt here. And those were targeted approach we used as a government to ensure we remain composed, sufficient liquidity in the economy domestically, and our economy is growing. In this space, obviously our end game, we were targeting Papua New Guinean businesses to be beneficiary to a growth economy. And it is no secret, 4 years on, most of you would have known me by now. My major focus remains growing economy. Number one, the economy grows, we'll have the money to finance everything else. If the economy has not grown, we will not have the money to finance everything, including our key social sector needs, education, health, etc. And the last 4 years, we've worked very hard growing the economy. Our major focus remains, for instance, our major foreign direct investments in clearing off our 5 big projects I always talk about. Papua LNG, PM LNG, Papua, Porgera, Wafi-Golpu, and Pasca. Those still remain on target. Today as we speak, Papua LNG feed is running its course. Early next year, they'll be in a place to indicate final investment decision. That is a project of $6 to $7 billion worth of construction and of course LNG harvest going forward. We're also working to ensure we sequence Pinang right after Papua LNG construction is finished. So that is a sequence construction dollar available in our economy beyond 2027 when Papua LNG construction has completed. So Pinang construction will take place. LNG construction alone of close to $10 billion worth of construction activities will take place starting 2024 into 2032. Wafi-Golpu renegotiated under better terms, where in terms of project economy, the total pie take from us would be over 56 to 57% residual benefit from PNG stakeholders, including landowners, provincial government, and the economy, national government. That's tax, that's equity, that's royalty, all packaged together into the new Wafi-Golpu discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not boring you, I'm just giving an impression. The economy is now placed to take off like never before. When I arrived in 2019 and I sat down deliberately program mine to renegotiate a better, everybody thought the country will go broke. Hello, we are 4 years on, still surviving, living. New program coming in better terms. You own 51% stake in the new program. That's part of our Take Back PNG focus to give the state bigger economy, bigger benefit for our economy. And I make no apology to anyone. I make no apology to anyone. As leaders, you make the call, and history will judge the inputs you make in the public policies. And 4 years on, I'm satisfied we on the path to economic recovery. The path that we saw in 2019, the the path that we must take. For I saw a very dangerous sinkhole we were going into in 2018 because 8 years of consistent advice to the former head of government never was taken heed of. And as finance minister, I did the right thing by resigning in 2019. And so the path we thought was best for our country we took. In this path, Papua New Guineans must participate. For take back PNG is totally redundant. If all of you out there are not spending more time in WhatsApps and Facebooks and empty tanks or think tanks, but get into being practitioners of work in the SME space out there. We must get to work. Government, for the last 48 years, we've been relying on government to spend and spend and spend. Government spending and government employment is unsustainable for economy going forward. There are limitations to this one. Successful economies have migrated from just government carrying the economy to private sector carrying the economy. And we have experiences abound in our neighborhood. You look at Indonesia, for instance. Today, as I speak, the 14th biggest economy. You write this down, within the next 10 years, they'll be the 5th biggest economy, 4th biggest economy, or 6th biggest economy. They're driven by the private sector. And more so, small businesses from home, growing the economy. The Indonesian economy, the Malaysian economy, the Taiwanese economy, the Cambodia economy, the Chinese economy, the Vietnam economy, the Thailand economy, Philippines economy, the ASEAN tiger economies are really propelled and are growing because their citizens are not just writers and talkers, but actually practitioners of business. And I want to commend the vision of few of you who've been leading the SME conversations in our country. You have been speaking for some time, but this is the 5th SME breakfast now. It sort of coincided with my arrival on the table. And we are going stronger and stronger. And I just want to indicate to all of you, if there's anything you feel government must do, this is a government for SME. Because I know that only through Papua New Guineans doing business will we create employment, will we generate wealth that is anchored in our country, and it will contribute towards growth of our economy. The 200 billion Kina economy that I envisaged when I made my richest Black Christian Nation speech on 30th of May 2019 can be easily reached much earlier if Papua New Guineans are participating in the economy. And we look certain. I look certain, even without you participating, I look certain to reach the economy if my 5 big projects that we are running together is being propelled. But that 5 big projects are coming in on board. Government and the economy reaching 200 billion in the economy will be totally wasted and eroded if the local business does not get to be up and running to sustain or trap the gains in the economy as our foreign investors come in to invest in the economy. So conversations today are totally relevant. I want to thank Desmond Yanninan and the team. I want to thank Mr. Por and the team. From our government perspective, continue to work in synergy. If there is any way we could do to assist by public policy, we will continue to look. There is no limit for government's public policy endeavors to ensure not just national government, but more importantly, our provinces, including Manus, and our regions and our districts, but more importantly, our people are doing business throughout the length and breadth of our country. And this is something that we envisage to undertake. You would have noted the last 4 years we've allocated funding for SME, and I do apologize if all of you who are lenders out there feel that BSP and NDB is getting all the love and care from us. Far from it, simply because BSP is present all over our country, and BSP has a lending profile and portfolio and reach, and to isolate from one talks who are linked to public servants and politicians in Waigani, and to ensure that those who really want to borrow money on pure basis of the business proposal, we thought we partner BSP. And BSP also did indicate they can lend beyond the envelope we assist them. They have sufficient liquidity, so even if we give them 100 million Kina as a guarantee, it was intended for a guarantee, BSP must be lending more than this. And of course, I just want to thank BSP. They've been lending more than the 100 million kina a year we've been giving for the last 3 years. Thank you, BSP, for the partnership. Of course, NDB, because they own government-owned lender, we thought they could listen to government instruction without compromising the fiduciary requirements, and we picked NDB as a partner, and we were asked to lend at the lowest cost lending at the break-even point at maybe 6%, 4%, 5%. And both BSP too were asked to lend at 4%, 5%, 6% rate. We want to ensure genuine SMEs out there go and borrow cheaply from these two lenders. But as I speak today and this morning, I just want to announce we brought on board Women Microbank as a partner of choice again. And we're also looking forward to possibly TISA and others who are lenders out there in our country for an engaged partnership so that our SMEs or our micro, small, medium enterprises can have a choice, and with a lender closest to them or close by, they could be out there borrowing to link up for growth of business in our country. So our government, through the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, as well as the the SME Corporation, have been asked to look at our lending policies so that we can continue on finding partnership of lenders who can be giving soft lending. And when I talk about soft lending, I'm looking at lending under 6%, 5%, 4% with a long-term repayment, not 1, 2 years. I'm looking at repayment that's minimum 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You do your research. Japan had a lending program that was family-based for over 70 years after the World War II. We're looking at a very, very soft lending program. And I ask all lenders out there in our society if we can put a compelling case to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and to the SME Corporation that you can be a reliable lender. Nothing stops us from putting you as part of our program in 2024, 2025 going forward, because we want to assist lending to our business in our country, and we want to isolate from paper pushers in Waigani. I talk about paper pushers in Waigani because I've been a cabinet minister for some time. I saw 230 million kina meant for agriculture squandered at government offices. We want to isolate those who just push paper in Waigani because they have access to government or access to the system. We want the genuine businessmen and women out there. You go to the lenders, those who you've been doing business with, you borrow from them, you grow your business, and government will give you the envelope of other public policies that you think you may need to ensure that your business is growing and successful. We've also been working other incentives. For instance, those of you employed, Papua New Guineans, we've now lifted the non-tax paying threshold to 20,000. So this will benefit over 200,000 Papua New Guineans who are really employed, not just in government and large-scale private sector, but more importantly in those SMEs throughout our country. You would be paying your staff under 20,000 kina a year. Well, good news is you are not paying tax this year, and without speaking to my treasury, but having discretion as a key public policy holder, I do indicate that next year this policy will run its course. We've now lifted the non-tax paying threshold to 20,000. Small businesses will enjoy having staff not paying tax. We're also looking at working to ensure that the infrastructure is developed, and we will be sequencing this in the next 5, 10, 15 years. The Connect PNG program will run. We overlay with power, the telephone connectivities, ensuring that all enabling infrastructure support the growth of business. We're also looking at ensuring that the system, I borrow High Commissioner Phelps' word, the soft infrastructure, the system is tidied. IPA, IRC, bank, central bank, the issues of central bank, all these are fixed so that Papua New Guinean businessmen, businesswomen are able to do better and ease of business in our country, including those foreign businesses who operate in our country. For a foreign business, don't be offended, but you are welcomed, but you operate at a space where you are operating. For those who are currently in business with us, and we are having a holistic look at the reserve business list, so that you come in and operate at your level, leaving the space of businesses that are reserved for Papua New Guineans to be participated by Papua New Guinea business alone. And that reserve list has been holistically looked at to migrate not just in the cottage industry spaces that we've been comfortable for a long time, or we've been compelled for a long time, but moving beyond cottage industry to a higher, better defined local content businesses in our country. And I'll give you my commitment at this breakfast. Yeah, so that is all from me, and I want to sincerely appreciate each and every one of you for showing up. Have faith, have hope that your country is moving in the right direction. We are in the right place at the right time. 100 years ago, in fact, the last millennium was possibly a millennium for Europe, Africa, and that part of the world. The next millennium coming on, the next 100 years coming on, the next 10, 15, 20 years coming on is the Asia-Pacific world. We live in an exciting part of planet Earth. Conversation of business, commerce and trade will remain active, buy and sell taking place in our part of the world. Papua New Guinea is privileged to have linked with 11 or 12 of the top 20 economies of planet Earth. Our link to US at the bilateral level, our link to China, the second biggest economy at the bilateral level, our link to Japan, the third biggest economy at the bilateral level, our continued link to France, to UK, to Germany as our traditional link nations or partner nations, our forever coexistence with the Australian economy and the people and government, Indonesian economy, the people and government, and Korea, for instance, top 11 of the top 20 economies Papua New Guinea has good bilateral relationship with. And yours truly has had the privilege of not just meeting engagements, but one-on-one engagements with leaders of the entire 11 top economies except Germany as I speak. And so with our connectivity to UK, to France, French president is coming in at the end of next month. Indonesia president is coming in early next month. And with a link to these big economies, you got market within your disposal. And closer to home, our link with Philippines, a robust economy of 110 million people needing food as I speak. Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. I was in Singapore a while ago, early on in my life as a politician. I was eating fresh chicken and asked them, where do you import this chicken from? They said, Brazil. They import chicken from Brazil. We are spending time writing on WhatsApps and not getting to work in our country. I want to encourage each and every one of us, shift from writing and pick up a business interest that you already have some comfort level you're comfortable with. And if you do not know where to start, I point to you agriculture. I point to you sustainable forestry. I point to you fisheries. We have the agriculture department, we have the fisheries department, we have the forestry department on standby to assist Papua New Guineans who are mobilizing your clan, your network, your family, your finances into those business. I point to you these three lowest hanging fruit. I returned from spending a wonderful night or two at Esala and Millen Bay. And in Esala, partnering National Fisheries Authority, we opened a jetty. Now we're going to build into the jetty a cold storage facility for fish and sea producers caught in that part of our country to be brought to the market in Alatau. And guess what? Our own local market is a market that is also good for those who get engaged in agriculture to satisfy. You have 10 million mouths every day that needs food. And if the 10 million mouths are spending 1 kina on food a night, that's 10 million kina. Someone needs to grow 10 million kina worth of food. It's not rocket science. Let's not just buy imported rice, imported food. We can grow it from within and supply. And so the market is within and the market is also outside. 10 million plus people has a domestic market, which in which the external market is there. All we need is the production line worked upon and those who are interested in this business. Yours truly, your government will ensure support from SME through subsidized lending continues and grow bigger next year going forward. We'll continue to work in ensuring that the policy regulatory environment is cleared for expansion in the SME sector We will continue to work to ensure power is not blacked out, law and order is worked upon, and the enabling infrastructures are met within the next 5 or 6 years. But I ask you, don't lose your focus. For those of you who are already in the SME space and here this morning breakfast, you are the missionary of this SME conversation. Keep on working at it. We will continue to partner you. Send us a letter on what you feel government can improve on,